We're back. And RecTech is a leader in wood pellet grill technology. And speaking of being a leader, let's talk about leadership qualities.
Amen.
As a proud Marine, you obviously understand leadership, chain of command, and getting what you need from people. How is working for both Vince and H different? But then also, what are some of the similarities?
Yeah. Well, look, I do think Hunter learned how to be a leader from Vince, a certain aspect of it. I think he's a leader of men anyway. I think that's kind of how he carries himself. But I think he learned kind of his leadership skills from Vince. Not saying Vince taught him everything he knows, but maybe he taught him everything he knows and Hunter knows a little more. And my point with that is, he didn't learn everything from Vince. He's not a clone of Vince in his leadership skills. You mentioned in the Marine Corps. In the Marine Corps, when I was in squad leader school in Quantico, Virginia, we had leadership traits. And I think there's 13 of them, and I don't remember them all, but the acronym was JJ Did Tie Buckle. And J was justice and judgment, and Did Tie Buckle was like discipline, integrity, dependability or determination. So I mean, you can imagine. And so I always go back, and I can't remember everyone, but I always go back to that when it comes to talking about leadership. Look, I feel like, and this is debatable because I've had this conversation with Vince and he made me look at it differently. I told him, everybody's scared to death of you, sir. And he said, well, that's on them because I've never done anything to scare anybody. And I thought about it like, he hasn't. He's never beat anybody up. He never threw his phone at anybody. He never yelled at. I never heard him, throw anything or jack anybody up against the wall. So is his presence terrifying? Is the question I had to ask myself, and the answer is yes. So my point being, he led by fear, but he didn't mean to. That's a crazy thought, and it just popped into my head for the first time right then. He didn't mean to. He just was had that powerful an aura. And I think while
he's
still
the king of the industry.
Yeah. And so it's, look, if you went to England and went in the king's house and you had to do a few things differently, you'd just go, oh, because we're at the king's house. But since it's just Vince, you go like, oh, he's eccentric. He's a weird dude. You know what I mean? And no, he's just the king. Like you mentioned, it's good to be the king. And again, I don't think he meant to scare anybody. I think people are just, to this day, I think people are terrified of him because he has that powerful aura, and he carries himself in a way that's very, it's professional, and he doesn't shut you out at all, but it's very...
Always heard an open door policy that you can 100%. Go visit him in his office.
You could not look. I would call his guy and go, "Hey, can I come up there today? I want to talk to him about something." You know what I mean? And he'd go, "Yeah, come on up." And so, at TV, knock on the door. If he's not busy, he'll have you right in. Like it's just that way. And so it's so weird that he's so terrifying at the same time. No.
You brought up the aura of fear around Vince, and in general, through fear, I'll bring up, based on what you just said, perceived heat backstage, where I think there were so many times where someone random would hear something in an outburst of some sort and then starts playing the telephone game of, oh, he blew up on so-and-so and so-and-so's got heat, when there's actually no heat at all, and it's just perceived heat based on bringing something out of context.
And maybe yelling. You know what I mean? Like, look, I'll never forget Vince walking around and yelling in my ear, "You just screwed my WrestleMania," because Rusev got DQ'd. You know what I mean? And he had totally forgotten that Rusev got DQ'd last week in Canada. He went off on me, and then I was scared to death. And then he was like, "Oh, but his was in Canada, so that one doesn't count. Yours is the one that screwed it all up." Like it was a joke to him. But for 30 minutes, I was really terrified and thought I was going to get fired. But that's the heat of the moment thing that doesn't mean anything in real life. It's just during live TV, things happen, things get said, it's frantic, and sometimes you get your feelings hurt, you know?
Vince is known as a notoriously eccentric workhorse, going many days, not many days, but going so often without much sleep, working 22, 23 of 24 hours in the day. Is Hunter actually pretty similar in the same kind of workhorse?
So look, he is a workhorse, and he is, once he sets his mind to it, and once you sit down on a phone call to come up with a show, you're going to come up with that show. Like, we're going to finish this, and it doesn't matter. We've stayed at that performance center till 1 o'clock in the morning as well. But 9 times out of 10, when we do that with Hunter, it's productive. A lot of the times when we stayed late with Vince, it wasn't that productive. But we had a good time. So I don't know which one is, a curse and a blessing. But yeah, I don't think you'll see meetings at 3 a.m. with Hunter, but I think you'll see that same, accomplish the mission before you can smile and stop working kind of mentality.
Such great information.